Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Moneyline Madness Podcast. I am Matt Chirico here with the one and only Andy B. Andy, how are we feeling today?
Amazing. Honestly, it was a great week this week for baseball. So I mean, everybody's pretty excited about that coming off that, and everybody's playing today, so everybody's in a pretty good mood about that as well. So.
Absolutely. It was a pretty cool All-Star weekend, if I do say so myself. One of the more exciting ones in the past couple of years. A lot going on, a lot of drama as well, as we know, circling the MLB. And not just that, but we're hearing also some drama throughout the NBA, obviously with this Donovan Mitchell news continuing to, spew whatever the Utah Jazz and whatever the Knicks are talking about. So we're going to be discussing an All-Star recap, giving some MLB bets, and yeah, just basically keeping updated on everything that's been going on since our last episode. So, Andy, you want to talk about the home run derby a little bit? Because I know your guy, J-Rod, I wasn't too big on him going into it, but you came out heavily supporting him, and, he proved you right.
Oh yeah, J-Rod. I said he was a sneaky, and it sucked for me because obviously I was rooting for Pete, and it was tough. But I said always watch out for these young guys. That's a power hitter. I know he doesn't look like he's kind of lanky, but he's a power hitter. He's a great player. So, yeah, that was a cool moment. But I think my personal favorite moment, other than Pete, if Pete would have won, I think the guy I wanted to win won. I think I'm full on Juan Soto right now.
Yeah.
In every way.
I mean, honestly, it was besides Pete losing, really, it all went your way. Kyle Schwarber, you're a big Philly hater. He lost first round. He looked absolutely atrocious. I mean, handing over, like, bending the knee to Albert Pujols, like the corpse of Albert Pujols was just crazy. I get it, in terms of maybe a farewell tour, but that was kind of crazy, the fact that he just absolutely stunk it up. I mean, Pujols took a timeout, 30 seconds in? Like, he took his timeout literally 30 seconds in.
Yeah.
And everyone came out afterwards basically praising him, thinking that it was a wrap because Schwarber was expected to hit 15 home runs and he couldn't. So that part was pretty cool. I enjoyed that.
Because this is a betting show, I'll tell a quick story, 5 seconds, I promise. It was my brother had a bet that FanDuel had a bet that it was Schwarber, Rodriguez, Alonso, and Soto getting to the next round.
Okay.
And Schwarber was the last one he needed because we all knew Soto was going to go. So he was so hyped. He was like, all right, he did it. He did it. It's Schwarber. It's the last guy. That's all I need because the other guy.
That was the last leg. That was a lock. He's number one seed.
I tell you, I've not heard my brother yell like that in a long time. He was flaming. He was pissed. I mean, I would be too. I don't understand why they all get 30 bonus seconds. That's curious to me.
Yeah.
He didn't earn it in any way.
Yeah,
so
you definitely should earn it. It doesn't really make sense that
if you're gonna give him an extra 30 seconds, just put it on with 3 minutes. Just make it 3:30, maybe 4 minutes. I mean, very questionable. But all in all, the home run derby the last few years has maybe been better than it had been for a while because it had kind of lost its lust there, a lot like the NBA dunk contest. But they got some big names in the home run derby again, so that's definitely a big thing, obviously. I'm very upset for Pete, though. Very upset for Pete.
I mean, I was upset for him, but yeah. So we got a comment here from Kyle, and he said, Pete Alonso hiding in the locker room by himself with his eyes closed was the corniest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, between that and the deadlifts, man, I don't know. That was crazy. Pete just hit, it was wild. It really reminded me of, it was even worse than Dak Prescott when he was doing those hip checks, getting his hips loose before that one game. Like, it was that kind of meme to me. Like, he was taking it so seriously, and then to come out and, have that happen. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for you as a Mets fan, and it's unfortunate when you're putting literally your all into something like that, and then you just come up a little bit short.
Well, I said usually for Pete, that's the biggest moment of the season. Now he's got a first place team he's coming back to, so this is a little bit of a different vibe for him. So I don't think he should be as upset as he looked. Well, he didn't look that upset. So I think we were all happy for Juan Soto.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. And Kyle says I'm a Mets fan, and I was completely ashamed of Pete. He embarrassed us. Yes, but according to Andy, future Met Juan Soto, brought you guys some fortitude there. And apparently, I heard a lot of rumors swirling around that Starling Marte was very friendly doing some recruiting.
Were you watching?
I was
didn't
watching.
Leave his side.
He didn't. Yeah, it was incredible. I don't know if you saw the meme on Twitter, and it was literally like Starling Marte to Juan Soto over the weekend, and it was like Charlemagne the God like
Oh
like
yeah,
fake
yeah,
laughing at
yeah,
everything Cardi B
yeah,
says.
yeah.
Oh,
I did see that.
it was so
Yeah,
good. Like
yeah.
it's literally perfect, and that's exactly what was happening. So I mean, I think you guys have a good shot at him. I don't know if the Nationals want to trade him within the division. That's really the biggest telltale thing to me. You tend to think that that doesn't matter. You want to give the people a little bit of an explanation because you were telling me via Twitter DM that you don't
Mhm.
think that's as big of a deal as I make it out to be.
Yeah. So a quick like analogy I used yesterday when Andy Martino said that the Nationals aren't overly excited to trade him to the Mets. I get it. You don't want to, but let's say you need a heart transplant. And I'm offering you my entire heart, everything I have, my best heart. All right. And everybody else is offering you just parts of the heart, just valves. That's what it reminds me of. Everybody could kind of offer, the Dodgers could offer their top three. The Mets, I think at this point, it seems pretty clear, are willing to part with their top six prospects with no problem. That's how bad they want Juan Soto. So if the Mets have the best offer, I don't think it matters. If they don't, then yeah, they're not gonna out and look for the Mets. No. But if the Mets make the best offer, they can't turn it down. You're not gonna turn down my heart if you need one. So that's kind of the analogy I use because Andy Martino tweeted something who, by the way, he doesn't let people comment on his shit, which is really stupid. So
Yeah, he doesn't like the trolls anymore. He got
yeah, he
very
got rid of comments.
yeah, that's not he's not with that. But I mean, that's a very odd analogy if I do say so myself.
It is.
I have seen packages from other teams that do seem somewhat appealing. So I don't know how much it really depends on how much stake the Nationals feel that trading Soto within the division holds. You know, how much weight does that hold to them? And we truly don't know. We don't have a
We
source
do
in the
not.
Nationals
We
clubhouse.
don't.
So, you know, that is what it is. Another thing I wanted to talk about was obviously Soto won the home run derby, and then Giancarlo Stanton won the MVP, right? And you're thinking, oh, I'm going to talk about him because he's a Yankee. Well, that's actually not
No,
the
he,
case.
he deserves to be talked about at
No,
least.
he deserves
Yeah.
to be talked about. He hit the hardest home run or the
Yeah,
hardest
really.
hit in like All-Star history or
Oh
something
yeah.
like that. It was something ridiculous. But what I wanted to talk about is because this is a sports betting show, obviously we look for the telltale signs that would tell you why a bet would occur, right? So looking back, hindsight is obviously 2020, but this is the type of situation where we can learn something from as sports bettors. So basically over this weekend, Juan Soto won the home run derby and Giancarlo won the All-Star game MVP. The whole story going into the home run derby was Juan Soto trade rumors and everything surrounding that. The Nationals didn't get him a plane to fly out there, so he had to actually fly coach by himself out to LA.
Yeah.
And what is one thing that Juan Soto, would want to do? Juan Soto is a superstar. He loves being in the spotlight. One way that he could boost his trade value, boost his star status, is by winning the home run derby. You know, that's one thing that I like looking back. It should have been like, wow, Juan Soto
Yeah.
is way more valuable. I forget what we said he was, but maybe like a plus 800, plus 900 at the time.
I think he was
And
plus 700, say
wow. So
somewhere.
like even then looking back, we should have thought maybe what the value of that is better. And then on the flip side of things with Giancarlo, the whole story was is Giancarlo going to compete in the home run derby being that he is from LA, being that he has, the story of him and his dad in Dodger Stadium and all of that, with the Dodger dogs and him being Mike Stanton and not
Dodger
Giancarlo,
dogs.
all of that. So like obviously like I said, hindsight is 2020, but going into the sports world, we can use these types of not analytics but kind of off the field
Stories.
things,
Yeah.
stories,
Stories
to
that
kind of
definitely.
think could boost our opinion on these types of situations. So looking back, I think Juan Soto and Giancarlo, I saw a couple bet slips have it on there of a parlay of them two, and they were pretty fat
Yeah.
considering Giancarlo was like a plus 1500 for the MVP. So
Yeah.
looking back, it's 2020, but we're definitely going to keep our eye on those same types of trends or something in
Yeah.
the future. Say the NBA All-Star game comes up and there's something similar to that, it might be worth considering.
Yeah. That makes sense completely. When I heard the Juan Soto story, I immediately thought of this All-Star week is going to be very interesting because I knew people were going to be. I don't know what conversations were happening in the locker room, but I'm sure he was hearing it all week. Like, hey, yo, I'd love to play with you. Hey, it'd be great if we could get you over here. You'd look great in our uniform. Like, I'm sure he's heard that, and that probably got him very excited because I think he also probably sees the end with the Nationals. I think it's a guarantee he's getting traded this week. Not this week. It could be next week. August
Within the
2nd.
next 2
Yeah.
weeks,
I think
15 days.
he's probably in his best vibe right now because he sees the end there and he doesn't want to be there anymore. And wherever he goes is probably going to give him a fat contract because he's not going to not get extended if you're willing to trade what you're willing to trade. So ultimately, I think you're right. We should have seen something like that coming. And with Stanton, you're right. It was back home playing in the All-Star game, full focus on that. It's awesome. It didn't work yesterday. They got swept, but really
okay.
helped.
Yeah. It didn't work yesterday. But
All-Star game.
one thing that was cool yesterday, Aaron Judge's home run. Can we talk about that? The fact that he's like just still mashing the ball post All-Star break out of the stadium.
I'm going to be very honest with you. I watched one inning of that game, of any of the games, and it was the 9th inning when the Astros walked it off.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that. Well, all right. With that being said, we're going to make our way into some of our bets for tonight.
Heck yeah.
I got a pretty loaded bet slip, if I do say so myself. Andy, you want to start us off with whatever you got to give me? Because I know you're going to be present at the Mets game tonight. So let me hear your little pick for that.
Oh, yeah. I've got it's a pretty big game tonight. I don't know if you've heard of this guy, Max Scherzer. He's pretty good. He's starting tonight against San Diego. They've got to come out of the break hot. I mean, Atlanta, if you look at Atlanta's schedule, it's a joke. I think they start – who do they start with? That's a joke. They don't even play today? Oh, that's
Atlanta.
Oh, no, Atlanta starts with the Angels.
They play with the Angels going up against Ohtani. They got Morton on the mound.
Oh, okay. Well, they're going up against Ohtani. They might lose tonight. Might have a chance to extend your lead. Who knows? But it is a joke, their schedule, either way. But back to the Mets. The Mets have a very tough 5 days coming up. Scherzer's going to start twice in 5 days. I think he's got to start on a great tone tonight against San Diego. They've got the NL MVP right now, so he has to be hot. I've got him over 7.5 strikeouts. Now that's a little bit of a high number, but at plus 106, I think 8 strikeouts is the Mets have been every pitcher for the Mets has been striking out a ridiculous amount of hitters when they start. Taijuan Walker and Max Scherzer, for example, have I think had double-digit strikeouts like 5 or 6 times in the past 2 months, man. That's something the Mets never used to do other than obviously DeGrom, who, by the way, is on his way back. But Scherzer at over 7.5 strikeouts against a team that does strike out a good amount in San Diego. So I like that one tonight, but it also is going to be a great game. Can't wait to watch it. So.
I think the most interesting part and kind of what's selling me the most on your bet is say 7.5 is a little bit high, but Max Scherzer is the type of guy we've seen him. He's a competitor. Like he's the biggest competitor on the mound out of basically any pitcher in the MLB. You see him talking to himself. You see him talking shit to everybody out there. Anybody that wants to hear it, basically. Max Scherzer is going to go out there and he's going to compete. It doesn't matter who it's up against. So I like that bet a lot. And if you're going to be there, I mean, hey, why not support it,
Oh, yeah, I'm very excited. Sitting out in left field, if Pete could hit us a home run, that would be great.
That would be electric. Yeah, that would be electric. Considering he was well rested after the home run derby, he should have have a good night tonight.
One more nail for the ply of wood I'm putting here to try to get you to make this bet. 11 strikeouts in his last start. So
wow,
coming off a pretty hot start.
Hey, yeah, and that was his first game back. No.
Second game back, and it was against the Cubs, but I think the Padres strike out more than the Cubs. If I'm
they might strike out more than the Cubs, just being that they're a more kind of power hitting reliant team.
Yeah.
I got a couple National League picks for today. Obviously, I'm gonna hop on. In addition to what you're talking about, I'm gonna take that Mets minus 1.5. I think that Darvish isn't really what we have seen him be in the past. I mean, this season, his ERA is above 3.5. Really not what he's accustomed to. He gives up a lot of fly balls, and I feel like in New York with this humidity out right now, I feel like the ball's going to be flying off the bat, and I'm going to take that Mets minus 1.5 for plus money at plus 125. I'm okay with throwing half a unit on that.
Yeah. Because this is probably the best game tonight. Another thing to watch out: if Darvish hits Pete Alonso with a baseball, there's going to be a fight.
So, you think so?
He got hit twice by you last time. So
interesting.
That's definitely something to watch.
It's not what you want to say.
It's not what you want at all.
It's not what you want to say.
No.
All right, I got another one for you. Keeping it in the National League, we always talk about it. Good teams beating up on bad teams. The St. Louis Cardinals going up against the Reds. Minus 1.5 comes in at minus 102. The Cardinals got Wainwright on the mound tonight. It just like I said, these ones really don't need that much of an explanation. Paul Goldschmidt absolutely raking heading into the All-Star break. I mean, the man is on fire. Albert Pujols, hopefully he had a nice few days off and could keep, contributing in some veteran, leadership ways, whichever they
He's a leader.
consider
He's
him
a leader.
valuable. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the Cardinals lineup is coming around. And I expect Wainwright, obviously, against a bad team like the Reds. This is where usually he gets his bread and butter.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting them to come out and cover that -1.5.
I like that one. I feel like they play every week. I feel like every week they play against each other. I think you had that exact bet last week, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. I think you said word for word, same thing. And I was like, is he talking about the Cardinals Reds again? Look over and oh yeah, they're playing again. So
Yeah, yeah, they
yeah,
are
I just
playing again.
keep drilling that one because
It's like the what is it that we used to say with the NBA? It was like the Timberwolves and the Thunder or something like
oh yeah,
that. That
yeah,
used
yeah.
to play like once a
The
week.
Timberwolves and the Warriors. I think every single time they played, we were doing episodes, and you were
Yeah.
always picking it. I'm like, this feels like it happens a lot. Uh,
Seriously. Another comment from Kyle. He said Phillies money line up to -134 now and rising fast. Feel like everyone needs to lock that in before it's too late. Justin Steele is awful on the road, and the Cubs are a joke. I like Kyle Gibson. Well, yeah, I mean, Phillies have been rolling heading into the break as well. And considering they're playing the Cubs, I'm pretty comfortable with that
yeah,
as well. Ever since they fired Girardi, it seems like they found a little bit more momentum, especially on
yeah,
the mound and defensively. So I'm pretty comfortable with that as well. Let me check FanDuel right now.
yeah.
And yeah, I see it is sitting at -136 right now on the money line. So definitely the over under sitting at 9. So honestly, if you feel comfortable taking that under, um, I might be okay with that as well. I feel like it's not really going to be too high of a game right there, but I'm comfortable with if you want to parlay both of those in case the -136 is just not really interesting.
Yeah, the Phillies are a team. I'm sure we're going to do some type of trade deadline type thing. That'll be a team we talk about a lot. There's a lot of as much as I love to hate on them, there's a lot of untapped potential there. They have solid starting pitching. I mean, Gibson's a pretty good 4 if he's your 4. I don't think he is right now for them. That's the problem. But yeah, they have a lot of untapped potential. They're a team. They should sweep the Cubs. If they don't sweep the Cubs, I'll be very alarmed. The Cubs are. I don't know if you saw it. The play that pretty much went viral on Sunday. They do things that they make you scratch your head a lot. So yeah, I really like that one tonight. The Phillies winning that game shouldn't really be a question. So I really do like that. I would put a pretty decent amount on that actually.
Kyle also says that the game of Cincinnati and St. Louis scares him a little bit. Wainwright's ERA on the road is 4.10, and Ashcraft's ERA at home is 2.67. Scary splits. Okay, I could see where you're coming from with more so the Ashcraft ERA. I don't like just specifically going off of ERA. I feel like sometimes that could get a little bit skewed, but I mean for Ashcraft that is relatively impressive considering he does play for the Reds. Wainwright, the main thing that I was looking at with Wainwright is his last start. He gave them 5 innings of 0-run baseball, and I was kind of looking at that, considering it was against a better team than the Reds. I was kind of looking for him to keep that momentum. The Cardinals and basically want to, being that he's a veteran, he's going to look to come out of the All-Star break and he's going to want to keep that same high kind of tide for them. So that's really where my angle was coming from. But I can also see that how if you aren't interested in that game, I do have a little bit bigger of a lock for you. And do you want to give one of your picks before I drop?
Yes,
This
sir.
one that I have on deck it's a hammer. I'm not going to lie to you.
I hope I'm not stealing it. Wait, which division is yours? And I'll give another one.
You know what? Send it, and then I'll
Send
because
it.
mine's a little bit more. It's not the typical. So go
Okay,
ahead.
Astros -1.5 is my big one. I like this one a lot. I don't even know how to explain how good they are, but they are the best team in the American League. I don't care what records say. I don't care what it says. Find me a hole on that team. Find me a hole. Because I was watching Rafael Montero closing games for them last night, and I thought he stopped playing baseball when he left the Mets 6 years ago or whatever. That guy, if they can resurrect that guy's career, they can do anything. Listen, I know they cheated a while ago. Now they're just a lab for great players. They've got test tubes with talent in it. They are an amazing team. There's no holes. They could add a catcher if they wanted to, if they really felt like it. I heard they're interested in Josh Bell. If they get Josh Bell, we might as well wrap up the season right now. The team's amazing. So they're playing Seattle, who is red hot. And I said last week, it's going to take a lot to get a hot team like this to stop. This is a lot. The Astros are a lot. So I'm thinking The Astros will probably take 2 or 3 this weekend, and I think it starts tonight. They've got Arcady on the mound against Marco Gonzalez. Gonzalez doesn't go very far in his starts, so you're going to see a lot of the Mariners bullpen fresh out the gate. The only thing that really scares me is the same thing that scares me with the Yankees tonight. That doubleheader yesterday should have never happened. It's a joke that they had to play a doubleheader and then go travel to places. They traveled to Seattle, which is one of the farthest places you could travel. So it made no sense by baseball. But there's so much talent in Houston. So I've got Houston -1.5 tonight at +140, +140, plus money.
+140. So that's very interesting because I'm looking at the ESPN analytics right now, and they're actually taking Seattle 51% over Houston 49%. So I mean, I'm not opposed to Houston. I think that that's a great opportunity for some plus money. And like I say, if you don't want to necessarily throw a bag on that, we use some of the bankroll from these good teams beating up on bad teams to roll into these other bets. So something like this, you could throw half a unit on and still feel like relatively comfortable with the Astros.
Yeah.
All right. I got my hammer of tonight. So actually I got 2 of them that I'm extremely comfortable with really putting whatever on. And the first one is going to be Tyone 4+ strikeouts and the Yankees to win. I mean, he's put up an average of 5 in his last 5 starts. So I'll take that all day. I mean, that's 4 seems relatively easy. And then we're playing the Orioles. I mean, coming off that doubleheader yesterday, like we need a win pretty badly. Tyone's been one of the better starters in the Yankee. Like Tyone has had a better season than Severino. And I feel like that's really not that hard to see. I mean, he has been really good. The guy's going to get paid after this season. That's how good he has been. So Tyone 4+ strikeouts and the Yankees to win. The odds actually just moved up on that at +110 against the Orioles. Like I am hammering that home tonight. So like I said, Jameson Tyone, that's a player performance double, 4 strikeouts, Yankees to win, +110. We'll be riding that one.
I'm going to say something really quick, and I don't mean like to disparage the Yankees, but you know what I'm seeing a lot of, and it's something that happened last year with the Mets.
Okay.
Every time they lose, there's a lot of this, well, we're still in first place thing. Not from the players. The players and Aaron Boone, what he said last night was perfect. But the fans. And not you, but I read the comments because I'm weird and I spend a lot of time on Twitter. What else can I do? I see a lot of this, well, we lost, but hey, we're still in first place. Hey, we're still in first place. We're still in first place. And they're not losing first place in their division, but they're not going to be first place in the AL for long. And I'm seeing a lot of this hiding behind first place thing. If they don't think they need some things at the trade deadline, they're another thing. They have another thing coming because they're not losing this division. They did so well in the first half of building a lead that is ridiculous. But scoffing at games against the Orioles is not allowed right now. I mean, the Orioles are hot, but also the Yankees coming in, losing 2 games to the Astros, that can do a lot of bad to you. So there's got to be kind of a little bit of an urgency tonight, which is why I really like this because they cannot lose the first 3 games tonight. So it's going to be very interesting.
What are your guys' individual Twitter accounts? I don't see them in the description. I'm going to comment mine right here.
I'll say mine. Mine's pretty easy. Yours is confusing.
Yeah. I mean, it really just has a couple eyes in it. But
it's a few eyes you got to count up.
It's literally just 3, but all right, pal.
That's 3.
Oh, no, it's actually 2.
Oh,
so, yeah, thank you for that. And then Andy could type his in right there as well. I appreciate the support, Kyle. Thank you, obviously, for showing up and commenting. We appreciate the interaction, and we appreciate your takes as well, because we know you and the Sauce Network do have some good knowledge, especially when it comes to these baseball picks. Andy, I got one more hammer for you, and I'm loving this one too. And it's mostly because, I mean, the Royals just stink, in my opinion. I mean, they're really bad. So I'm riding home tonight. Tampa Bay Rays -1.5. That comes in at +134. And the reason that this is plus money, and I understand it. They got Drew Rasmussen on the mound, who isn't necessarily, a bona fide superstar, but the Royals stink. Like I said, the Royals are very bad. They haven't decided who they're even throwing yet. And Tampa Bay is a team that beats up on bad teams like this. I mean, we saw them go last season. What was it, like 29-2 against teams that were under 500. So they're known for beating up on these bad teams. And the Royals, another one that's probably going to fall victim. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. We're going to ride those home for plus money, +134. I'm comfortable throwing a whole unit on that.
Yeah, the Royals are one of those teams where a lot of money is going to be made against them in August and September because after the trade deadline, it kind of gets to the point where these teams have nobodies. Like they have double A, single A player, not single A, triple A, double A players playing for them, and the Astros are going to fall victim to that because they have some very appealing assets, if you will, on that team. Obviously, their left fielder's pretty appealing, but yeah, I like that one because even on the road, I think Tampa Bay is kind of flying under the radar. They're 10 games over 500 and they're in a playoff spot right now. So there's not really, they're doing what they usually do. They win. So
Yep.
it's going to be tonight, I think, definitely a good one. I have one final one.
Okay.
And it is the tonight's game. It's a team that's been, I would say, the most disappointing just because of how good they were last year. And they're playing the Dodgers. So, I mean, it's pretty, it's always a pretty big game when they play. Giants,
Absolutely.
Dodgers.
Yep.
At Dodger Stadium. The fanfare is over from the All-Star game, but it's still big. It's still a big series.
The fact that they just get to stay home, like
yeah.
the Dodgers get the most, like the same way that like Roger Goodell sucks the life out of the Patriots, or we saw that or felt that way when Tom Brady was over there, is the same way that Manfred sucks on the Dodgers. Like
I'll
he's
give
just
you
the
that.
biggest eater, bro.
I
Like
believe that,
it's
yeah.
just it's gross. Is it like they
No,
just get to
you're
stay
right.
home?
Everybody else
Like
had to travel to them and then go back, and now they don't have to move. I
travel
think
to
that's very
them, and then you got Houston going to Seattle, playing in New York, and then going to like, come
yeah,
on, man. It's just
it's very. You're right. I agree with you. The
they're playing
Dodgers
in
do get
Houston. I'm
some
sorry.
treatment. Yeah, they played in. Well, the Yankees had to go from L.A.
LA,
I don't think they
Houston.
went back to New York. There's
No,
no
they
way.
went to LA,
The
Houston,
players,
and then
yeah,
Baltimore. Like, and then Houston went
yeah,
LA, Houston, Seattle.
yeah,
Like, it's just stupid. Meanwhile, everyone in LA just
yeah.
gets to sit back and you know kick it. Like
They
it's
didn't even
dumb to
win the
me.
World Series. Not like they get like special treatment for winning the World Series. They didn't even make it. Like I don't know.
No,
Very odd.
it's dumb.
Yeah, it's very odd. I got one more. Yeah, I got the one more. The Dodgers. I have the Dodgers -1.5. The Giants are kind of in the worst place you could be in a season. You're 48 and 44, no shot to win the division. The NL wild card to me is a crapshoot because there's a few teams that can get into the wild card, and ultimately, I don't think any of them want to face one particular team, and that's the Padres. So I think everybody wants to avoid them. So making the playoffs obviously is a goal for like the Phillies and them. But the Giants are an analytic team. They can reload like crazy. They've got money. They're going to be in the Aaron Judge sweepstakes. We'll see how that goes. That's kind of what they need to be gearing up for. They need to be gearing up for stuff like that. And if you can get some prospects back for some of their top guys like Carlos Rodon, Jock Peterson, that's probably where they're at right now. So they're in a weird place. So maybe if they win this series, they can save their season, but I don't see it happening. Dodgers are a much better team. Dodgers want to put them to sleep and put them into a seller mode. So I've got them -1.5 tonight at home. Good pitching matchup too. Logan Webb, who's been hot lately, but Tyler Anderson on the other side, who's 10-1 with a 2.96.
Yeah,
we talk about him. We talk about him at.
He's always pitching.
Yeah,
he's always
pretty much.
He's always pitching for the Dodgers whenever we have an episode. I really like the angle that you're coming from on this, because that really is the scenario that we're looking at. A team like the Dodgers, they look at this as we could put the Giants away. We win this series, we sweep this series, and we're convincing the Giants to sell at the deadline.
Yeah.
So
our teams should be very in on that too, because with Jock Peterson, we should both be in on.
They got a lot to sell. Wouldn't that be interesting? Him reuniting in LA would be
no,
not
wouldn't, and not Atlanta either. Not Atlanta either. He could go to the AL if he's not a Met, and I don't necessarily need him because he's a lefty.
I could see him as a Red Sox.
He could go to the Yankees. No, I think the Red Sox are selling. I think a lot of people are kind of underrating the fact the Red Sox might need to sell. What are you fighting for? What do you?
No, they stink
to win the World Series this year. So
yep, I'm good to shit on the Red Sox whenever you want to shit on the Red Sox.
Did you see they're interested in Dom Smith?
Really?
That's
he's gonna save their season.
Yeah,
he's gonna save their season.
It's weird.
Wow.
It's sad. Very sad.
GG's
Sad fall
for the Red Sox. Hey, I'm not mad at it. Like I said, the Red Sox suck. It's good to see a guy like Alex Cora fail. We enjoy that. We really love to see that. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I'm really interested in on tonight's slate. Let's see. Maybe one more thing that I do like is, and actually I don't even see that game on FanDuel right now.
The Corbin Burns pitcher tonight against Colorado speaks strikeouts to me.
Oh yeah.
What do we? Let's get a number on that. That speaks strikeouts.
Let's see. Player strikeouts. Corbin Burns. His is coming in at 8.5.
Maybe it's not speaking to me then.
Yeah, yeah. They
Maybe
knew.
it's not
They
speaking
knew.
to me. They knew it was going to speak to me.
I
Well,
did see. I did see something that said
good
if
pitching
you can.
matchup in Boston too.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you
I
say
saw
that?
something that said if you can, I think it was props.cash tweeted it out, and they said betting against Senzatella, his
Mhm.
hits for him to give up more than 5 hits was plus money today. I don't know if that's a prop on FanDuel, but I did see that apparently he's given up that 100% of the time so far this season. One more thing that I was looking for tonight was any Marlins type of bets, but they don't have that
Oh
game
my
on
God.
FanDuel. So that's really kind of interesting to me. If you could roll with the Marlins tonight, I know that Braxton Garrett is 1-3, and that really doesn't tell the whole tale, being that he's stuck on the Marlins. But going up against a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates, I'm comfortable taking their money line relatively at whatever it sits at right now. Yeah, the Pirates starter hasn't
Yeah, it
been
hasn't been
announced
announced
yet.
yet.
That's kind of more so why I'm comfortable with it. I don't know if that's crazy or not, but I mean, the Pirates just stink in my opinion. So the Miami Marlins are more slept on somewhat, especially that lineup coming out of the All-Star break. I'm not sure if Jazz is going to be playing. I don't think he's 100% just yet, but I really like Garrett Cooper, and I think that he's going to be able to hold that offense for them, especially against a bad team like the Pirates. I mean, they're basically playing AAA kids out there. So I'm cool with rolling with their money line when that does come out. I'm sure we're going to be tweeting that out.
I would like to see the Marlins score a run. It's been a while. I don't know if you saw the number. It's been. I don't know if it's been 34 innings, but I saw a stat that it
They're
was.
due. They're due.
I
Like
hope
against a
they're
team
due.
like the Pirates, I mean, like how does that not like they should be like you should win that game. I don't know.
Yeah, if it's Quintana, it could be a tough night for the Marlins. I think he's
Yeah.
going to get traded this week too.
I
I
think
can't
he's
wait
gonna.
for the
Yeah,
trade
I think
deadline.
the trade
Keep it in
deadline in the
time.
MLB is going to be really interesting. We're going to be keeping up with it.
Oh
We're going to
yeah.
have another episode. I'm hoping Sunday when we get some
Oh yeah.
type of news. Hopefully something could break relatively sooner than later.
That's interesting. Juan's going to be
But
making his debut on Tuesday for the Mets. That's very interesting.
wow, wow, wow.
We got the Subway Series next week too.
We do have the Subway
We got to
Series.
do an episode one of those two. One of
Marlins
those
have
two.
scored one combined run in 36 innings.
There you go.
Yeah, no, it's yeah,
That's what
36 total. Wow, 30. I thought it was like 25, maybe 36. That's
36.
getting a little embarrassing.
That's so.
But
That's tough.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is without Jazz. You see that he holds a lot of weight in that offense. But like I said, I'm relying on a guy like Garrett Cooper to come through for me tonight.
No, yeah.
Against a team like the Pirates, 4 straight games, 3 straight shutouts, Kyle
That's,
says. And the Pirates, you got to get right against. Like,
yeah.
get right against a bad team like the Pirates. They're sitting with 39 wins. So if you can't get right against a guy like or a team like that, um, if it isn't Quintana, then I'm comfortable throwing money
Yeah.
on that money line. But we're gonna be keeping an update on that, probably tweeting it out whenever it does come out.
Oh yeah.
So, Andy, you got any more picks for me today?
No, I'll definitely be tweeting out. I got a long drive coming up in a few hours, so yeah, I'll be tweeting some things out. I'm very excited to see this weekend because it's usually the one that kind of shapes who's gonna sell and who's gonna buy. Talked about the Giants and Red Sox, so it's gonna be a very interesting weekend. And some teams get to play the Orioles, some teams have to play the Padres.
Yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully the Mets can still prevail. You got Mad Max on the mound, and I hope for your sake and for your enjoyment of the game that you will have as good of an experience as I am anticipating the Yankees having against a team like the Orioles.
Yeah.
So,
One more thing. Look at the jersey I'm wearing right now. Everybody else will be wearing black. I've got to find a black jersey. I might have to purchase one tonight.
I was gonna say definitely get a Mad Max black Mets
Oh
jersey.
yeah.
That might be a must cop. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap
Yes,
it up
sir.
for us today. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Kyle, for all the interaction. We appreciate you and the Sauce Network as always. In case anybody doesn't see the banner right below, right there, follow us on Twitter, on TikTok at ML Madness Pod, on Instagram as well, and don't forget to drop a follow for Mo Sports across all platforms. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been Moneyline Madness episode 52, and we will catch you guys Sunday morning. Take it easy. Peace.
Let's go Mets.